And welcome back to the Saturday Club podcast. Joining me today, Director of Video and Technology for Clemson Baseball, the one and only Carter Fricks. Carter, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. It's good to see you and catch up a little bit, and appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. I'm honored that you joined the show. You know, just the little old Saturday Club podcast. One Clemson grad to another, so a Clemson man needs no introduction. But you're a pretty big deal, so we're honored. We're very honored to have you on. Um, a classy man, local guy, Pendleton, Pendleton High, right?
Daniel High.
Daniel High. Dang, how did I get that
Yeah,
wrong? I feel like
Pendleton.
I
The
knew that.
Pendleton part was correct, but Daniel High. Yeah.
That's on me. 100% on me. So let's just get right into it. I guess you're a local kid. You played JUCO baseball for until COVID, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then came to Clemson. What was that transition like from JUCO baseball to what you bullpen catcher, right?
Yeah. So went to actually looked at trying to bullpen catch out of high school at Clemson. There wasn't a need for it. They had two guys already. Went to Division II Toccoa Falls College. It's about 40-minute drive from Clemson, just right through Westminster in Toccoa, Georgia. So played there for 2 years. My last year was the COVID year where we got axed about 20 games in. But even before that happened, kind of knew that I wanted a Clemson degree. I wanted to graduate from Clemson. That's what I grew up loving. So very fortunate to have got those 2 years there. Met some really great people, had some great experiences, and then I just came to Clemson to just to be a student. Like I said, just get a degree. At the time I thought I had got everything out of baseball that I thought there was, which is funny looking back now. But luckily reached out one more time to Coach LaCroix, who was Monty Lee's assistant at the time, about bullpen catching, and he got me in. They had a need for it, so got to do that for 2 years with Coach Lee, which incredibly grateful to him and that staff for allowing it, and then super grateful for Coach Bakich when he came in, let me stick around as a GA and do get introduced into the video and tech stuff, and then even more fortunate that he hasn't kicked me to the curb yet.
I don't think a lot of people. I don't even think you know this, but I think you're. I've watched the most amount of Clemson baseball with you. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah. So those first 2 years as a GA, our video system is ran from the press box, and Clemson has many great facilities, the press box included, and luckily I got a nice seat next to whoever was working for the great Brian Hennessy that day. And fortunately enough, a lot of those games were with Mr. Drummond here, and so that was always fun, just to have some good banter and conversation, keep the feelings high during games, in a work environment. So have moved down to the dugout
I'm
now,
gonna
so
say I see you
actually
on the
miss the press box
broadcast
a little
now.
bit. Yeah, yeah, miss the press box a little bit. It's some good camaraderie up there for sure, but definitely good times with you and Peltz and Schmitty up there in the press box.
Yeah, that's quite the group. I'm definitely the on the low totem pole in Brian Hennessy's mind compared to Spencer and Cole. That's kind of hard to compete with those two. That 2022 season, I think I remember that see, that was the Max Wagner like went insane year. Grand Slam against Florida State. Three, I'm trying to remember. Man, that year was fun too. I'm trying to think of my favorite memory from probably that Friday night Clemson Carolina game was pretty cool. I want to say there was like a weather delay, and then God, did Engel go deep lead off homer?
Yeah,
Or was it
yeah.
Gavin
So
Abrams? Someone went deep.
I think it was supposed to be a 7 o'clock first pitch, which was pretty late, and I think some rain pushed us back to like 8 or 8:30. Cooper Engel, first pitch of the game, took Will Sanders opposite field, and then I want to say the fourth or fifth, Gavin Abrams had a pinch hit home run to knock Sanders out of the game.
Yeah, that team. I always remember the hidden ball trick was kind of the turning point for that team. And I mean, if you had told me that team was going to be a national seed, I was like, wow. It was just that was my favorite time being a fan, being able to fly on the wall. Honestly, Eric Baxter's press conference was sick. That was really cool. Just a lot of cool memories with Clemson baseball. But this team, um, man, something about it. You're around them every day. They look to me like they genuinely love each other. They like playing for each other, and they like playing for Clemson.
Yeah, I think that has been the best thing about this group so far is they just love being with each other. They have a lot of fun together on the field, off the field, in a way that very much resembles Team 127. So that's 2024 here with Jacob Hinderleiter and Jimmy Obertop. And that's a credit to when you get that. That's not something you can force. It requires some good veteran leaders, and then in this world of the transfer portal, bringing in the right kind of guys. That Team 127 had Blake Wright, and then we bring in Hindi, Obertop, Alden Mathis, Matthew Marshall, Luke Smallsec, and keep naming them Chufo. And being able to have the veteran leaders that can take the new guys, blend them with the returners and the freshmen, you can just create a really tight circle. And that's what we have on this team. So, you have Jacob Jarrell, who's a third-year captain, and then Aiden and Jaron, who are returning captains as well. So all the credit goes to them and Coach Backage, as well as these new guys for, we do things different around here, and credit them for buying in. And it's been really cool to see how close they are and how much of an appreciation these new guys have for what wearing the paw means.
No, yeah, 100%. I guess I want to talk about one of those new guys. One of my favorite players this year to watch has been Nate Savoy. Obviously, great hitter, but I think he also provides some versatility. He can catch, he can play in the outfield, he can DH. What's it mean, for a guy like that who can give Gerald a day off, or Gerald can go DH, or Savoy can catch? Like, what kind of versatility does that bring to a lineup that's, loaded from top to bottom?
Yeah, I mean you can't really put a price on it. You look at last year, I think JJ caught at least 50 plus games, I want to say. And he was phenomenal, but being able to have Nate give him a break is going to help the both of them, and then also Nate being able to go out and not just play the outfield, but like be a good defender in the outfield. I think a lot of times when you get into high level college baseball and pro baseball, if there's a number two catcher on a team, they'll throw him out in right field. But the Nate adds value with his glove in left field, and obviously you can see what he can do in the box. I think the coolest thing about him is, especially the transfers we've taken the last few years, I think your mind automatically goes to like those grad guys, those older guys, but like Nate's only a sophomore, and like it's been very cool to see. He is, well mature beyond his years. He's very level-headed. Um, but at the same time, like he's taking a leadership role in this group just by his behaviors. He's not a very vocal guy, but obviously the results are one thing, but seeing how he prepares, how he takes care of his business on and off the field is something that the younger guys can look to, and the older guys as well, just to get a new perspective on things.
Yeah, that 2024 team was the team was special. That was probably my favorite team in my lifetime. Um,
Quick side note about Team 127. I have a recording on my phone, a screen recording of Coach Backich getting when he got ejected in the regional, and it's somebody filming from the alumni deck, and it's one of my favorite videos because you and Chris are just losing your minds, going nuts,
yeah,
as well as the rest of the stadium. I mean, people are
yeah.
jumping on the nets, and that was such a fun year, and that just had to throw that little note in there.
Well, I don't want to come off as a homer, but obviously everyone knows I'm a Clemson grad. Carter is a two-time Clemson grad. He's got me beat. But let's see. My last year was Backage's first year, so I had to work most of the game. So couldn't. I was obviously a big-time fan, but you can't really show it in the press box, or BH will get mad at you. So I think that was my. I went to the regional the week before. Sat out kind of where the beer garden is now, and then that series, Chris and I were kind of over to the right of the press box, and that was like my first time being like in the like I could see like people I recognized, and I actually sat next to the basketball said he'd been Winter Road, and I lost my mind on Cantarella's home run, and then I guess he made the catch, then he hit the home run. Was it
No, it was homer then catch.
homer then catch? Yeah. Um, and then when Seven got ejected, I thought that was awesome. And then when EB went out there, I was like, all right, this guy's he fights for Clemson. He's got me. Um, that was that. Obviously, the results sucked, but that was probably the greatest college baseball game I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the best. You had everything you could ask for in that game. And I really believe if you look at the best college baseball games of the last 5 to 10 years, I think two of them have happened, in Doug Kingsmore Stadium, which is special. Obviously, the results weren't what we wanted, like you said, but like there's been some great postseason moments, just in the three full seasons that EB's been here.
Yeah, I obviously I love hearing him talk and hearing him. He's just I don't know. He's a true leader of men. What's it like being around him every day? I guess he's the same guy you kind of see in the public eye as well.
Yeah, no doubt. He's the exact same. You know, high energy all the time. Um, and it's really cool to see the level of care that he has for the players, outside of when, during the game and when there's a camera on him. Like he's constantly, fighting for our players, trying to help them make sure they are taken care of, which, at Clemson, we're super blessed with an athletic department that's going to always prioritize student athlete development. But just the perspective that EB is able to bring each day, to find the positive in things and also see each day as an opportunity. We're very blessed to get to do what we do, and being able to have a growth mindset each day. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. He's no different, in private than in public.
Yeah, he's the best. I texted BH. I was like, "Hey, it's Chris's bachelor party. Can you get a video of Backage doing something?" And he did it, and I was like, "Wow, that was really cool." He didn't know who I was, so that meant a lot to me. I guess just looking at the season, obviously got a big series tomorrow night. Little Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Shout out ACC Network for that. But big series against Georgia Tech to open up ACC play. What's kind of the mindset going in the weekend?
Yeah, I think it's a great challenge for us. I mean, obviously, there's no secret that Georgia Tech's the best offense in the country, and I think that's a credit to. I think that's one of the benefits of when you have a coaching transition and you're able to promote from within, and upgrade an assistant to the head coach. You're able to retain all your good players. Especially a great coach like James Ramsey has been so far. Um, so I think the thing for us is, our message is always to compete against our standard. We're not competing against another Jersey, and I think that can be really hard to do when you get into conference play, regardless of who it is, and then when you have a really good opponent. So I think putting an overemphasis on sticking to our plan and our preparation and execution is going to be huge. You never want your mindset or the way you prepare to be any different just because you're playing a different team. But we know it's a great challenge for us. They're a very good offense, and we're looking forward to it.
I guess going back to the South Carolina series 2 weeks. I guess that was 2 weekends ago. Obviously dropped their Friday night game, kind of uncharacteristic, but Michael Sharman on Saturday was dominant, and then obviously Savoy's through-run shot. What's it like being in the dugout for those? I mean, obviously I've been to a couple of those rivalry games as a fan. You kind of have your own spin on it, but I mean, it's got to be it's the best college baseball rivalry in the country for a reason. So what's it like being a coach now, in the dugout for those big time in-state games?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's the best rivalry in college baseball. Three different environments, all just as electric as the one before. You know, give credit to Founders Park. It is a beautiful field and beautiful stadium. Like you said, didn't have the outcome we wanted in game one, but we saw a lot of orange there, which was awesome. And then, the neutral site game, in Columbia the next day saw a lot more orange, and it's awesome. I mean, it's, give credit to South Carolina as well. The way that we value this rivalry is what makes it so good. You can kind of throw the records out the door, when we line up against them, because we know how much it means. And Coach Brackett credits that a lot to, South Carolina. There's no pro sports, so Clemson and South Carolina is something that, whether you watch every baseball game or you only watch three a year, you're probably watching those three. But it's for me, having gone to Clemson Carolina games since I was born, it's incredibly special. And then when you get a performance like what Michael Sharman did, it just makes it that much cooler. I mean, I don't know how many games I'll ever be a part of that are 2 hours and 2 minutes or less and a
I'm
full
gonna
nine
say
innings.
it was during it was the same time, or there was a little overlap. Clemson was playing Louisville in basketball, and I want to say the baseball game ended in no. I want to say the basketball game ended. It was like the sixth inning. Like it was crazy. Um, but like what you said, how Baggage puts a emphasis on that rivalry. I remember him saying in his introductory press conferences, his players will know the importance of that rivalry. And to me, being a lifelong Clemson fan and Clemson grad, that meant a lot to me, just because it's you want to win you want to win that series, and people outside the state don't really understand what it means to the fan base. Being out here in Fort Worth, people always ask me like, "Oh, who's Clemson's rival?" And I'm like, "Come on, dude, it's South Carolina." So it means a lot to the fans. Obviously, it means a lot to the in-state kids. One in-state kid I want to talk about real quick. Um, he's playing very, very well. Local kid, just like you, Jay Dillard. What kind of He's a guy who's waited his turn, obviously. What kind of guy does that, the guy that's waited his turn mean for a program like Clemson? Obviously, they can go out and get whoever they want. But, Dillard, he provides some versatility in the lineup. He hit a nuke in Greenville against Michigan State. So, what's Dillard, what have you seen him take that next jump this year?
Man, we could talk the rest of this time about how good of a dude and teammate Jay Dillard is, but like don't get it twisted, man. He's a good baseball player and he has improved a lot since he's got here, but he's always been a great baseball player. Like you said, he's been patient um in a day and age where there isn't a lot of patience in college athletics. And in that time he's never changed his preparation. He's never changed his love for Clemson, and he's never changed the kind of teammate that he is. And he's like I said, he's just a good ball player. He's fundamental. He can play third. He can play up the middle. Got a good swing. Got some thump in him. I mean, he dang near hit it on the roof at the Greenville Drive field. And I think Coach Backett said it on the radio yesterday. There's something special about hearing a higher level of a reaction from the dugout when a player does something. And that's what we saw, when Jay hit the walk off to get the mercy rule in Greenville. Um, so, couldn't be more happy to see Jay's success, obviously because he is a good guy, but like he's just a great player, man. And he's a dude that you're always gonna want in your locker room. And like you say, local kid like myself. You know, he'll always, I'll always have so much respect for him because, like we said, I was started in a bullpen catcher and student manager role. And the coolest thing when you're in that role is just the players just treating you like you belong, not giving you special treatment and then not, looking over your head, just treating you like you're one of the guys. And Jay was always that to me when I was a student manager. We talk Clemson football, Clemson basketball because, we both bleed orange and purple. And so couldn't be happier to see him out there and, a lot more is to come for Jay Dillard.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. Obviously, when you throw a local kid in there, you always want to root for them. But I guess another guy who's taking a big jump is McClatty. His again another guy that's a versatile guy. What's it like having Purify and McClatty at the top of the lineup, kind of setting the table a little bit?
I mean, it's an incredible, thing to have two guys with that kind of speed. And then you have McClatty with the speed power combo. They're the type of 1 and 2 hitter that 5 pitches into the game, you can look up and we have guys on second and third, and you have no idea how it happened. The way that they're able to take their walks as well as smash balls gap to gap, and then steal bases. Man, I think they're tied right now for the team lead in stolen bases, and it's like they're in a competition with each other or something. Which those two guys are roommates, so I'm sure there's a little bit of banter there. But yeah, Tristan can play every position on the infield. He can play every position on the outfield. He's just one of the better athletes, in the little bit of time that I've been around. He's one of the better athletes I've seen. He's a great kid. He's an energy bringer. Always has a smile on his face, and is an easy guy to pull for. And just the season he's had so far is just the beginning.
Yeah, he's surprisingly kind of looks like Canarella out there in center field. Some of the plays he's made, I kind of have to like do a double take. I'm like, whoa, Cam Canarella's not on this team anymore. But yeah, that's been a cool thing having him, play center and stay in the lineup. I guess another program guy, when I think Clemson baseball recently, Jacob Jarrell. What would you say, 3-year captain?
Yeah,
Or
three-year captain now.
they say he never missed a workout. Does a great job helping the pitching staff out, but also like he's got some pop to him. I think he has a team lead for home runs. What's a guy like Jacob Jarrell mean to this program?
He means everything because Jacob, similar to how I said with Nate, Jacob's a 3-year captain, and definitely he earned those first 2 years by how he prepared. He wasn't necessarily a vocal leader because he didn't have to be. We had guys like Blake Wright and Andrew Chufo. The biggest improvement that Jacob's taken this year has been his voice to the locker room, and obviously any freshman that comes in, any transfer that comes in, they know who Jacob Jarrell is because they see how he works, and if you've watched Clemson baseball for 4 years now, you know who Jacob Jarrell is. So much obviously improved as a player, and he's always been a leader. But the way he's been able to be a vocal presence for this team, which is what you need as a backstop, to police guys on the field. But he's also taken a step up in policing guys off the field as well. And so can't put a price tag on a 3-year captain at all, which is something that I'm sure was rare before this day and age of the transfer portal, but is something that you might not see many other places again.
Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, what's been your favorite memory? I guess either since you became full time or since EB's been here. What's been your favorite memory the last 4 years?
I'll give you one of each, since I could probably give you 10. So from, my first 2 years with EB is just as a student manager, so that's 23 and 24. Um, you talked earlier about the hidden ball trick at Florida State. I think just the run that team went on, from that point in the season till the end. Coach Bakich, part of our shared language is never out of the fight. A lot of times that applies to, a game when you go down, but you look at that season, we're 2-8 in the ACC, and then we finished 20-10. So, not only are you never out of the fight in a game, at any point in the season, you're never out of the fight either. And that's truly the belief that he installed in those guys, and the way that he was able to do that was pretty remarkable. From the last 2 years, um, I'll say for this year, my favorite moment so far has definitely been, um, I'd say the South Carolina series, because obviously what we talked about, how much it means to guys like us, but we took a pretty big punch on Friday night, and that game started late, weather delay, so that we're even later into the night, and the way that our guys responded, like it was nothing the next day. We took the punch and we got back up and we went back swinging. So seeing how this group can turn it around like that after a game that didn't go our way was really cool to see, and not only do it like that, but to have a performance from Sharman, which all the credit goes to him, as well as the defense behind it, because I think he only had 4 strikeouts. So, defense was locked in behind him. We get a big sack bunt down, and then the next pitch is a 3-run homer. So that would be my favorite moment from this year so far. It's just seeing how our guys, flipped the script from that Friday to Saturday.
Awesome. Well, Fricks, best of luck rest of the way. Hopefully, we'll have you on again. But man, the guys are fun to watch. So we really appreciate all the hard work you do for the program, and looking forward to rooting this team on. Hopefully, late into June.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate your coverage and, the friend you are as well. So thanks for having me on, brother.
Of course, brother.